Morning everyone, hope everyone's enjoying their day. And what I want to talk about in this video is just something that I'm considering moving forward. And it's really interesting because I'm not, I would consider myself, I've always called myself spiritual but not religious. And what I mean by that is that I do believe in God. I do attend church for christenings, weddings and other things, but I don't ascribe myself to a specific religion. I have considered, when I was living in Bradford, I considered becoming a Muslim. I looked into it. I was getting close to like deciding, and then I just thought, no, it's too much of a significant shift, and I didn't know if I'd be able to maintain that. Christianity, I've always looked into. I've got friends who are Christians, and then I also did some studies with the Jehovah's Witnesses, but realized as well that wasn't for me. So there isn't a specific religion that I think, oh, this is for me, this is what I want to do, but I would consider myself spiritual. But I've been looking into Buddhism over the last few months, and what's interesting is I listened to a talk on it yesterday, and the guy was saying, the monk was saying, if you want to become a Buddhist, it's about like a way of life, and it's not that you ascribe to a particular religion or way of being. It's more of like, you can just say, I'm going to use it by these virtues. So I'm just going to go through the virtues, because that's what made me then say to myself, I live by some of these virtues anyway, so I don't think it would be a massive shift, but it is something I'm considering. So the first there's 5 virtues that you have to go by if you are living a Buddhist lifestyle. So the first one is abstaining from killing living things. So that's not just in terms of people, that is, creatures, anything. Now, when I worked on summer camp, American camp, that was one of the things we had to live by. We couldn't, any of the animals that when we were on the camp and stuff in front of the children, we couldn't do it. So I got used to seeing massive bugs. And instead of doing normally, getting a piece of card and just, smashing them. Even now, thinking about it, it's not something I would do. We had to just be really careful, really gentle, and lead and guide the animal out, the bug. So that's something which wouldn't be a problem for me. I would never hurt an animal. I could get used to just, opening the window and waiting for, I've never even with things like wasps, flies, or whatever it is, I'll usually just open the window, be patient, and so I can do that. That's not like a hard virtue. The next one is abstaining from stealing, and that's another one that I don't steal anyway, so I think that's just an easy one. And I suppose with all of these virtues, it's saying that if you're choosing to have this Buddhist lifestyle, you're saying that you do not want to do things that would hurt other people, but you also want to live in a way that is where you believe in karma, so you're not going to do anything that then comes back to you. So abstaining from stealing, easy. So the third one is abstaining from taking antioxidants. So that's including drugs, they say, drink. So all of that stuff. So even though I drink occasionally, to be fair, I don't really drink that much. I do like a nice little drink on my birthday, at Christmas. I've never drunk, I don't really drink to excess. So going out and getting really drunk, I'll probably have 1 or 2 drinks when I am out. But I've also had mocktails, I've also had no drinks. So that one would probably be the tricky one, because I suppose if it's saying you abstain completely on my birthday or at Christmas or on special occasions when I feel like I want to have a drink, would I still be able to? And I think it says because you don't want your mind to be clouded in any way. So yeah, it's saying like permanently. So that's one I'd have to work on. But I think I could get around it, as in like if I had to give up drinking when I don't drink anyway, I could do it. I think I could do it. And the fourth one is sexual misconduct. So anything around porn, probably if seeking prostitutes or escorts, I'm guessing. Anything, it didn't really go into detail about what sexual misconduct is. I suppose it's probably things like having affairs. I'm just guessing, misconduct would be anything, I suppose, that is maybe sex outside of a marriage, doing things which are, I don't know if it's even to do with kinky sex or whatever it is. It just said sexual misconduct. So I suppose you'd have to define that. If you looked into it more, there's probably loads of speeches on it, so they would probably go into more detail. But yeah, that's fine. I can abide by that one. And the final one is telling lies. So that's easy as well, because I don't really tell lies. And what it's trying to say is your heart has to be pure. There's no point in saying that you are, it's back to this thing if you don't want to hurt living things, but you also don't want to harm other people and you don't want bad karma. So if you're lying, stealing, involving yourself in affairs, drinking, doing all these sorts of things, it's really saying that you're going to either hurt another person, but karma is going to come back to you. So those are the 5 virtues. And then the main thing, other things it says is, if you're a Buddhist, you need to be able to gain wisdom and knowledge of life. You need to understand the nature of life. So that involves doing a lot of reflection. That involves just being quite a peaceful, calm person who wants to understand other people, wants to understand the meaning of life. And then the next thing is tranquility. Oh, that's a hard word to say, which is through meditation and doing good things for other people, but not getting into this state of being on edge, being like aggressive, being anxious. It's saying that what you really want to do is create this tranquility within you. And it's amazing because when you listen to some of these talks, but also when you do things like meditation, mindfulness, breathing, you do feel calm. Your body feels physically calmer, but you also just feel really relaxed and really tranquil. And it says that anytime someone does something bad to you, you have to take this approach that, you know, karma will be the thing that gets that person. It's not down to you to, you know, be saying, right, I've got to get revenge. So that's a big thing in Buddhism. You don't seek revenge. You don't let these angry emotions or negative emotions impact on you. You leave it to karma, leave it to the universe, and you know that's what you do. So yeah, it feels like an interesting they don't call it a religion, but Buddhism, like a practice. But you would put that on, if someone says what's your religion, you'd put Buddhism. But I think what they're saying is you don't have to go through any ceremony, you don't have to declare it. If you want to live your life as a Buddhist, you would just follow those virtues and you would just operate in a way. So it is really like living a Buddhist lifestyle. So it is something I'm going to consider because I just find it really interesting. And let me just see, you know, obviously I can decide if that's what I want to do. But let me know what you guys think. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching. Bye.